The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Morning Market Kickoff with your host, Tommy O'Brien. Now, Tommy O'Brien.
Good Wednesday morning, everybody. I'm Tommy O'Brien, coming to you live from TFNN, 9:06 a.m. We got about 24 minutes to go until the start of trading. We got all the markets in positive territory. That's after a miss on the ADP private payrolls number. We'll get into that in a moment. Checking in on the markets. We get the S&P right now up by 8 points, trading at 45.29. We make a high yesterday of 45.42, drilling it into the 15-minute action. That high was actually pre-market. You look at where we were throughout the actual trading day, you weren't above basically 45.27. We're up to almost 45.40 overnight. We get the ADP number. We're trading a little bit lower on that number, giving back some of the gains. Right now, positive by 10 points, almost a 0.25% at 45.31. Tech stocks, NASDAQ 100, just off the highs we had as well. Pretty similar action to the S&Ps yesterday. We make a high pre-market, 15,677. Intraday yesterday, you traded a high of about 15,600. We were up to about 15,650. We get that private payroll number. We're off a bit, still positive by about a 0.25%. Dow positive by about 0.1%. Now, we were higher in the pre-market, actually made a high above where we were Tuesday. We've given back some of those gains right now, positive by 52. And the Russell, positive by 10 points right now. You see the action on Monday. You see the action on Tuesday, well above where we were for most of the day Tuesday. The Russell really lagging yesterday to the downside. We're trading right now up 11 points. That's about 0.5% in the Russell. Russell continuing to trade with volatility. Got a little bit of OPEC news we'll get into this morning. We got crude down 47 cents, trading at 68.03. You got gold up $2 at 18.20. Gold with some volatility yesterday. We got a high this week, Sunday night, 18.26 so far. Silver is up 18 cents, catching a little bit of a bid right now at $24.19. Notes and bonds, a little bit of higher price and lower yield this morning. You take a look at the 10-year. The 10-year right now trading up 3 ticks at 133.18. That's correlating to a yield just under 1.3%, 1.294%. The yield on the 10-year this morning. 30-year positive by 11 ticks, 163.10. We take a look at the 10-year again. We put it on a daily. Just for some context here, yes, you're getting a slight bounce, you could say, in that 10-year, but the trend has been lower since about August 4th, and today, first trading day of September. Remarkable. Coming into the Labor Day weekend, we jump over to the volatility index. Summer trading about to wrap up. We got a VIX at about 1631 this morning, back to a 15-minute action. We ended yesterday about 1650, almost made it to a 15 handle. Got to a 15 handle Tuesday night, almost up to that level, 16 and change, 1632 in the VIX. All right, we've done the market wrap up. Let's get into the jobs number for ADP. 374,000 in the month of August. A little bit of a miss here. And you look where we are on the chart. Boy, we got a lot of jobs to make up, talking about maximum employment, and not what you want to see in terms of declining numbers. Not surprising, though, with the types of case numbers and deaths that we're seeing across the country. That says enough. The jobs we're adding, you're talking about 373,000. Now, the expectation was for somewhere over 600, 700,000, I think. Let me pull this up real quick, see where we are. Yeah, 600,000 was the estimate on this number. So you come in at 374,000. The July number was revised to 326. So a little bit of a miss, and that's tending to send the market lower. A little bit of a bleak forecast when you get into ahead of the non-farm payroll number that we'll be looking for on Friday. Weaker than expected hiring gains suggest firms are still struggling to attract applicants and fill a record number of vacant positions. Excuse me, folks. Still getting over a little bit of a cold. Thankfully, nothing to do with COVID, but colds. You got kids in school, colds are a thing no matter what. Service provider. I get a little dry throat here. Excuse me. I need a little sip of water. Getting into where those numbers were, okay? Leisure and hospitality, 201,000. Healthcare, social assistance, you're talking about a gain of 39. Construction, 30. The combined payroll gain in July and August was the slowest since the start of the year. Not what you want to see coming into that non-farm payroll number on Friday. And as you see, the market's taking it pretty much in stride. I mean, we're positive by 10 points. We're basically sitting at all-time highs. You take a look at the S&P. Pretty well-defined channel line right in the middle of that channel line. You can trade 100 points in either direction and still be well within it. NASDAQ 100, maybe a little bit of a different story. Could be bumping up against the upper boundary line here as we make new highs. Tech stocks continuing to surge. Dow, a little bit of a different story. You could say we're at the lower boundary line. Doesn't quite match up to the lows we had back in November when these runs really began, when we started getting the efficacy data for the vaccines. But nonetheless, higher prices almost across the board. You're talking about a Dow within about 150 points of all-time highs right now. NASDAQ making those all-time highs yesterday. You're within about 50 points, and we got the S&Ps within about 10 points of the all-time highs right now. We talked about crude. Crude right now down about 56 cents. We're going to be talking to our man Teddy Kegstad at 40 past the hour. We'll be talking Forex. We talk commodities sometimes. He's been a crude bull for a while now. We'll get Teddy's take on crude among the commodities and currencies, of course, that we'll be talking about with Teddy at 40 past the hour. And what else we got going on? Let's jump right into it and get into some of the stocks that are moving this morning. We got earnings. We got Campbell's Soup. They beat top and bottom line estimates for the last quarter. They earned 55 cents a share. They beat consensus by 7 cents. Fiscal 22 adjusted earnings outlook 275 to 287. The market was looking for 285, 287. Up a little bit in the pre-market. Campbell's, it's been a tough go-around for them. One of my good friends works for Campbell's, and looks like they're going to be up about 50 cents. There's your action on them this morning with their earnings. Excuse me, folks. I got a little dry throat. I'm going to get some water as we get to the break here. A lot of talking when you're dealing with just getting over a little bit of a cold. But nonetheless, Campbell's a little bit higher on their numbers this morning as we jump down the line, see what else we got going on. CrowdStrike, this was a big one last night. They beat forecast by 2 cents. 11 cents a share with the earnings, revenue above estimates as well, raised the full year outlook. I mean, that's like the trifecta, right? You beat on earnings, you beat on revenue, you raise the outlook, and the market says you did not do enough for me. We're going to trade lower to the tune of about $8 to $273.20 this morning. Now, this stock, talk about a run. There's your 3-year weekly to encompass the full COVID volatility, we'll call it. You start off 2020 at $50 and change. You trade down to 31. This stock is trading at 273 this morning. I mean, just this year, folks, you came in at 225, let alone dipping to 175. We're going to be trading $100 higher than that. All things considered, not bad. Now, you take a look at Zoom. Quite the different story here. Zoom yesterday falls out of bed to the tune of about 17%. You take a look at the daily. Quite a different story compared to CrowdStrike, right? Let's go back a full 3-year weekly as we talk about to get the full COVID volatility. Now, Zoom starts it off at $65, makes it up to $588. We back down to $289. You're right back to the breakout area from a year ago. The low we had in Zoom in May of this year, you're talking about a low of $273.20. All right, we're trading at $289.50 as of the close yesterday. You're getting a little bit of a bid so far this morning on Zoom. We'll get into it in a little bit later in the program. You have Kathy Wood and ARK out there. I think it's $56 million. She sunk into Zoom yesterday, buying the dip. So Zoom getting a little bit of a pop, probably on the heels of that as well this morning. All right, folks, stay tuned. We come back after the break. We'll be talking to our man Kevin Hincks from TD Ameritrade Fast Market. We'll be talking equities. We'll be talking earnings. I'm sure we'll be talking a little bit of jobs number as well when we get back from the break. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Golden ratios give shape to everything in our world, represented in the Fibonacci sequence. These special numbers define the patterns that make up our universe. Not even markets can escape the omnipotence of these ratios. Larry Pesavento is a 45-year market veteran who has published nearly a dozen books on the powerful patterns we find in nature and their relationships with the ever-elusive markets. Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, will teach you to harness the power of these natural golden ratios in order to create successful trades. Fibonacci 24/7 is designed to teach the tools you need to identify and act on these undeniable and reoccurring patterns. Sign up for Larry's newsletter, Fibonacci 24/7, and you will also receive free access to his trading webinar, Trading Strong Trending Markets. Try out Larry's newsletter risk-free. All of TFNN's newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
What's separating you from the most successful men and women on Wall Street? That's right, information. Having all the information gives us the perspective we need to place the right trades at the right time. The TAS Profile Scanner is the premier market profile-based scanner. Powered by its acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner instantly filters over 2,500 plus global financial markets, such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. This powerful suite of tools leverages instant trade filtering and strategy formulation to show you emerging trades before they happen. For a limited time, you can save $100 off your first month by using the promo code UPGRADE, and you still get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Level the playing field with the TAS Profile Scanner, which you can find under the Services tab at TFNN.com. Sign up today.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, folks. We get the S&Ps up 9 points right now. All the markets in the positive territory as we come into the open in about 12 minutes. Let's jump over to our man, Kevin Hincks. Every trading day, folks, 11 a.m. Eastern time on Tiger TV, the TD Ameritrade Network, Fast Market. Kevin Hincks, Alex Coffey, and the team breaking down the day's market action, walking you through hypothetical trades, folks. Whether it's trade management, you're dealing with defined risk, hypothetical situations. Kevin Hincks, we got an ADP number this morning, a little bit of a miss. Markets all in the green. Well, good morning.
Good morning, Tommy O'Brien. Yeah, the markets, first day of the month. So markets looking green to start the day. But here's the thing. You're right, Tommy. This is an ADP report that was a miss, except that the divergence between this number and the non-farm payroll number that we get on Fridays has been quite large lately. So I don't know if people are maybe starting to discount this number slightly or whatever, but it's certainly not a number that is moving the market very much, Tommy. Yeah, they were looking for about 500,000 jobs, came in 374. So, it looks like the bulk of it was the service providing sector, up 329,000 jobs, good producing, up about 45,000 jobs. It looks like leisure and hospitality gained about 201,000 jobs. But all things being considered, Tommy, this is the number pretty much being discounted ahead of Friday's non-farm payroll number.
And it's pretty cool, man. We come into the long weekend, of course, wrapping up summer trading, September trading beginning today in about 11 minutes, as you just mentioned. And we come into the long weekend, but a pretty important data point coming into that long weekend. We talked a little bit about yesterday that maybe the next month or two might be a little bit more important for the market. But nonetheless, we get a pretty important number when we got so many unemployed people, or at least underemployed from the numbers we had prior to the pandemic. Kevin, I know we're dealing with 8, 9, 10 million jobs basically before that pandemic, and we get that number on Friday. We got some earnings, of course, coming out last night. You guys always talking about some great stocks on Fast Market. CrowdStrike, a little bit of a lower action. but this thing has been quite a rocket ship recently. You had Zoom out there really trading lower yesterday. There was Coffey Wood out there buying some Zoom on the dip. The news was yesterday, so Zoom up a little bit today. The run continues in terms of we still get a couple companies as we go through the week. We got the jobs number today, of course. We got non-farm on Friday. What are you guys going to be talking about, Kevin, coming up today at 11 o'clock?
Like Folio's focus for the middle part of the show, the high-profile stock we're looking at is Chewy, the online pet supplies company. So we'll be looking at that. Also, I mean, there are some other secondary names. We've got American Eagle, a apparel retailer, and we've got probably the last one is we haven't decided yet, but I'm sure. I know Chewy and American Eagle will be two of the ones. American Eagle comes out with earnings before the open tomorrow morning, Tommy.
Well, folks, that's a perfect teaser because you don't want to miss the end of the program because, Kevin, I was going to bring up, interestingly, that the end of your program yesterday, you guys were talking about Microsoft. I thought it was a great segment. So like you're talking about, not exactly earnings in play, but obviously there'll be earnings in the next quarter. The stock has risen from 240 to 300 recently. And could you just talk a little bit for those that didn't catch the program? And, folks, please tune in because it's such great educational conversations talking about, you know, almost at any price level, Kevin, right? You can love or you can hate a stock, even if you love the stock, because any stock is capable of maybe an overbought or oversold situation. And we're pushing, you know, personal bias in here, right? We don't know what the future holds. But could you just give a little conversation what you guys talked about? That was a great conversation, and what you were talking about. I mean, the run this thing has had is pretty remarkable from 240, and that's just going the run it had since June, let alone, you know, the last recent history.
Right. Kind of a theme to our shows yesterday at the end and during the rest of the day was some of these stocks, very good names, fine, maybe some of the best companies in the world, they still go down. And that is what you have to be at least cognizant of. And not that one data point is going to cause that, but when data points start to pile up, like it's deviation away from the 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, it's relative strength indicator getting up near overbought levels. This is when maybe you should put a little caution into some of these, because maybe one of these data points doesn't convince you, maybe two or three, but when they start to pile up, at least has to be on your radar screen to watch for these. So, and the statement I make on our show all the time is, if it's the best company in the world or the worst company in the world, at some point I want to be long it, at some point I want to be short it. And so we're just showing people how to put on, neutral to bearish trades. So if you don't get the down move, you necessarily don't lose money, but still being cognizant that, remember, a stock like Microsoft, it's in 3 of the 4 major indices. So if you get a global sell-off or some type of a correction, Microsoft is going to sell off. And it has a history of going to or slightly past its 50-day moving average. And even though the stock is trading right around $301, $302, its 50-day moving average is $285. So that's significantly lower than where we are now, and you need to have that on your radar screen when watching these stocks, Tommy.
It was a great segment. It was a great point. It's something that, just I think mentality-wise, and so much of trading in my own trading, dealing with the mentality of winners, losers, risk, reward. Microsoft, I got the Analyze tab up here on the Thinkorswim platform. We're talking about a company with 7.5 billion shares outstanding, $2.2 trillion market cap, and it just went from 240, Kevin, to 300. Basically, what are we talking about? Just more than 3 months. Folks, that's almost $500 billion. That's $450 billion you're talking about. $60 that's going up. Every single dollar, $7.5 billion. Point being, you just added almost $500 billion in the last 3 months. You're telling me that maybe you might get a little pullback, Kevin, when you put it in those terms? Pretty remarkable, the market capitalizations of some of these FANG stocks, the tech stocks we're dealing with out there. Well, Kevin, we appreciate the conversation. We look forward to the show as always, and I know we're coming into the long weekend, so we may not talk to you tomorrow, man, but you have a great week, a great weekend, man, and we look forward to the program at 11 o'clock today.
Have a great day, Tommy. Yep, I'm unplugging for the rest of the weekend.
Get it done, brother. Get it done. Perfect. Get it done. Enjoy the end of the summer and come back strong as we all do, man, right after Labor Day, and we'll see where this market goes. It might have a little volatility for all of us, but we'll be watching today, Kevin, at 11 o'clock. Have a great one, man.
Thank you, Tommy.
You too. Folks, tune in every day. It was a great conversation about Microsoft. Alex Coffey was just talking about a little bit about the market capitalization. I've talked about it as well. Microsoft, staggering when you look at the dollar amounts of these companies. I mean, even today, right, you got Microsoft up $1 pre-market. Well, you're talking about $8 billion market capitalization they just gained overnight. Now, you think that's a lot, right? You're talking about a stock with 7.5 billion shares. Well, Apple, you jump over to the Analyze tab and you pull it down. You're talking about a company, I think it's 16 billion. How many are we dealing with? Let's go. 16.5 billion shares. So every single dollar that Apple's moving, and it's up almost $1 today, is $16 billion in market capitalization. This company has just added $25 on the same run, okay? So 25 times the 16 you're dealing with, you're talking about 400 billion. So between Apple and Microsoft alone, there's been almost $1 trillion in wealth created over the last 3 months, folks, all right? I mean, the moves, like Kevin's talking about, whether it's just talking about 50-day or 200-day, whether you're talking about maybe you like Fibonacci's, okay? You look at the Fibonacci retracement, just talking about a 382, you're talking about 141, okay, in Apple. I believe Microsoft, I pulled that up on the 382, you're talking about 280, I believe. We'll draw it as we come into the open. There you go, 280, 20 bucks. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.
Are you having fun trading the markets but having trouble finding like-minded individuals to discuss your trading and investment ideas with? Become an apex predator in the trading markets and join the Tiger's Den Trading Room only at TFNN.com. The Tiger's Den is an exclusive trading room where successful traders from around the world come to exchange trades and ideas. Join the den and surround yourself with the sharpest minds in the trading world. Subscribers to the Tiger's Den are also the first to have their questions answered live on air and can privately chat with our TFNN hosts live during their shows. Interact with other Tigers and Tigresses as they share trading ideas, news analysis, and discuss the market action all trading day. Subscribe to the Tiger's Den risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee and become part of the TFNN trading community. TFNN, educating investors.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den Trading Room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets open. We got the S&Ps up about 8 points, giving back some of the gains that we had overnight in terms of 8:15 a.m. this morning. Shortly after we got the number for ADP, you're up to almost 45.40. We've given back about 12 points to 45.27. All the markets, as I mentioned, though, all in the green. We got Bitcoin up about $2,300 at 47,620. Jumping over to Ethereum real quick. Quite the run Ethereum's been on. Man, that was quite a dip and a buying opportunity under 2,000 in my opinion. Not sure I'd be piling in at 35.57 right now, but Ethereum seems to have a future and seems to be one of the cryptos that could have a legitimate future in terms of use, in terms of just everything is a gamble, folks, when you're in crypto, but it does seem like one that could have a future from the limited knowledge that I possess. I'm not trading it in any way, and I'm not suggesting you do either, but man, that was a buying opportunity back at 2,000 from 4,500. We're trading at 4,400. We're back to 35.58. Just in some context here, right? You look at the high we had for Ethereum, 44.06. We're back to 35.59. You look at Bitcoin, and not quite even percentage-wise back. I mean, look at Bitcoin. We spent a far amount of time well above the price that we were at right now, 47,610, all the way up until Coinbase goes public. They were pumping this thing solid, weren't they? And then Coinbase, you take a look at it, quite the fall off. We've been chopping around between about 220 and 260, maybe 280, call it, on their earnings. We're trading at 260.43 for Coinbase. And just like that, we get the Dow dipping to negative territory on the open. There's a little bit of sell-off, 35,326. Tech stocks popping higher on the open. Let's jump to some of those FANG stocks I was just talking about. Look at this. Apple, all-time highs, 154. What did I just say? 16 billion shares of Apple, and we're up $2.40. We're up 1.6%. We were just trading at 149, folks. We're trading at 154. Monday morning, we were trading at 149. It's 48 hours from then. We've added $5 to the price of Apple. That's an $80 billion market capitalization that just got gained, that has just appreciated, we'll say, since then. Microsoft, little bit of a bid, not above where we were yesterday just yet. We got Microsoft trading up $1.94. We'll jump, what else we got? Google shares opening a bit higher, nothing like Apple in terms of quite the acceleration. You know, nothing's going to hold down these equities if you got the biggest company in the world adding that type of a pop in terms of Apple continuing to put a crush into these markets, up 1.4%. Pretty remarkable. Netflix shares right now up about 0.4%, 571. We jumped to Amazon shares up 0.9% above 3,500, 3,502 on Amazon so far this morning. Facebook shares up 0.25% as well, 380.57. All right, jumping around to what else we got going on. Be interesting to see how this plays out and how quickly it gets adopted, but I imagine as quick as possible for most employers saying vaccine mandates are possible by the end of the year. Now that the vaccines are going to be getting full approval instead of just emergency use, a majority of employers, 52%, planning or considering requirements by the end of the year. It makes sense, folks. In an environment where a lot of companies as well, talking about providing health insurance, they're not going to be wanting to pay for hospital stays that could be prevented by a simple vaccine dose. You get into it, the options vary, of course. You got a strict order, and then you got limiting certain areas, and then you, of course, could just be imposing like like Delta, a fee of $200 per month. When you talk about the costs associated with providing health insurance, et cetera, I imagine that's going to become more and more a thing. Now, what's interesting is you get in here, you had Urban Meyer yesterday, the Jaguars coach, as the NFL season approaches. You had a bunch of NFL teams having to get to their final cut of 53 players. Interesting to see how this shakes out. And it, you know, I'm a huge fan of unions, folks. My mom, I got no shame, worked for a union in Verizon. One of the only reasons she was able to retire in her young 60s in that company, because she was a member of the union. That's what so many working class people of a generation before provided them the ability to have a nest egg and retire. Surprised many unions supposedly sticking up for the rights of their players. Meanwhile, those rights putting them into the hospital in most situations. This one especially perplexing of how, so the NFLPA doesn't want the teams to consider vaccination status, which can thoroughly affect your health, number one, as a professional athlete, let alone the protocols in place in the NFL in terms of trying to protect everybody. And I mean, he was out there right there saying that Everyone was considered. This was part of the consideration, such as production. Let's start talking about this. And also, he is vaccinated or not. Can I say that that was the decision? It certainly was in consideration. If you don't think it is, folks, that you're just not living in reality. It's just unfortunate that that's somehow controversial, that the Players Association is somehow not with that completely. But you want to win a Super Bowl, folks? Take care of yourselves and be healthy. Seems like 101 in terms of reasonable decisions. All right, let's jump back to some of the stories in terms of what we're shaking out with stocks making moves. And we're going to jump to oil first, as I mentioned. OPEC. So we're going to be talking to Teddy Kegstad from Forex-Trading-Unlock next segment. We'll be talking a lot of Forex. We always sneak a little commodities, a little oil in there as well. OPEC meets amid expectations. Group will approve supply hike. So they've already agreed to add 400,000 barrels a day each month. They don't expect any change from that. OPEC and its allies, they're going to meet today. This is as of yesterday, to review those plans with crude prices mostly recovered. And the supply outlook relatively tight for the rest of the year. They have little reason to change the established schedule of gradually monthly supply hikes. The delegates who spoke on the condition of anonymity predicted ministers would approve the 400,000 barrel a day supply increment at Wednesday's online meeting. You jump over to that crude contract. Watch out, folks. 68.75. We just dropped $1.50 since 8:30 in the morning. Watch out. What's going on? This will be a good one to talk to Teddy about coming up in the next segment. All right, we got some volatility here across the board. We got the Dow just positive by 5 points. I mean, you're talking about 150 points from where we were trading at overnight. You got the S&P's up 6 at 45.27. We jump over to some of the stocks with action. Zoom shares catching a little bit of a bid today. News out there last night. Kathy Wood. Let's see if we can find it right in the news here. Let's see. Kathy Wood ARC. There we go. Zoom Communication, 194,080 shares. Now, that got broken up. Here we go. Yeah, so she almost 200,000 shares of the video conferencing company and at least 2 exchange-traded funds she purchased. And we do have Zoom in my newsletter, too, for full disclosure, folks, as I walk this through and give you a bull scenario for her putting a bid in here. You have the ARC Innovation ETF purchased 157,000 Zoom shares, and the ARC Next Generation ETF bought 36,800. That total up to about, you're talking about just shy of 200,000 shares purchased. Always nice when you got a bid and a buyer behind your equity. You're up 2.5%, still well off the $347 we closed at prior to the earnings on Monday night. But Zoom up 2.7 so far this morning, and that is a strong company, folks. That's why we got it in my newsletter as an equity position. They are a growth company. I walked it through yesterday. You're dealing with some severe multiples in terms of the growth. They are a company right now in terms of their valuation, $88 billion. They're taking in about $4 billion a year in revenue. Price to sales, you're talking about 22 times. So their market capitalization is 22 years of sales right now. I walked through yesterday. If you have a small company that's selling $1 million of goods every year, right? A lot of small businesses are around $1 million of revenue. Sure they are. You got to pay out a bunch of expenses. You got to pay out costs of goods in that. Maybe you're making $200,000 or $300,000, $400,000. Those are great margins if you are. Sometimes you're just breaking even, taking in $1 million. That would be valuing the company at $22 million. You better be growing. But guess what? Zoom is. They're up 3%. Stay tuned, folks. When we come back with Teddy. We'll be right back.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Will the S&P 500 continue to climb? For bold trades on U.S. large-cap stocks in either direction, trade SPXL, SPUU, or SPXS. Directions Daily S&P 500 Bull and Bear Leveraged ETFs. Direction Leveraged ETFs. An investor should carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses before investing. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a fund's prospectus and summary prospectus, call 866-476-7523 or visit directioninvestments.com. A fund's prospectus and summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, folks. We got markets positive territory. S&P's up by 4 right now. Let's jump over to our man, Teddy Kegstat. You can reach Teddy, folks, every trading day at forex-trading-unlock.com. We talk to Teddy every Wednesday at 40 past the hour. Teddy Kegstat, good morning. Nope. Do I got him? Maybe?
I got you.
Good morning, Teddy. How we doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good. It's a cool morning in Chicagoland.
Send a little of that cool air down to Florida, could you? It's a little hot and humid as we kick off September.
It just started today. Literally, it's been so
right?
hot.
No, we're coming into September. I said today in Florida, I said, in the next month or two, we'll start to get some cool weather, which is the real deal. But that alone encouraging as we wrap up, July, August, and hopefully hurricane season kind of rushes through as well as we're kind of in that peak season. Obviously, those poor people send our hopes out to in New Orleans. Florida, of course, we're always kind of keeping our fingers crossed down here as well. So where do we start off, Teddy? We have a little bit of movement this past week, a little bit of movement across the board. What are you looking at to start things off across the board in Forex here?
Well, it's actually been a kind of a swinging morning because, the dollar got beat up yesterday and then all of a sudden it bounced really nicely. And it had a lot of follow through early today. Like originally the dollar was very strong this morning early, but now it's getting hit across the board. Now, the one thing I would have to say is, and this has been kind of a little tone I've had for the past couple of weeks, is some of these markets have been trending like severely, either bearish or bullish and what have you, depending on the cross. But then not all of them are coming off of highs and lows, like for instance, like the pound and stuff like that, So certain markets, I think right now where they're strong versus the dollar in a short term, intraday basis right now, I think you should have to look at them as more of corrections than the beginning of new trends, unless they are going with a longer term trend. Okay, so if there's, where would you like to start? You want to start with the European currencies?
I got a chart of the pound up here. Let's start with that. Okay. Why not? Because I got the daily up of the pound, and I see what you're talking about in terms of we're trading 137.90. Quite the run we've had, whether you back things up in both directions. But what are you looking at with the pound versus the dollar?
Okay, well, the pound versus the dollar, this is one where in the very long term, it's neutral to bullish. It's been sideways to lower, obviously, over the past few months, okay? Now, you can see it right now that the wave that it's going right now, it's pushing, it made a higher move high yesterday, and now it's trying to make a run for it again. the low that it came off of a week ago, that's a higher move low. Okay, so right now we have a pretty positive form as far as for the pound, as far as strength, and overall the pound versus most currencies is strong right now. However, the British pound has been having a little bit of a sell-off against some of the other crosses, and that's more of, I think a profit-taking move. Once again, meaning they're counter-trend reactions right now. I wouldn't look at them as actually new trend reactions. Okay, so this is where I think you really have to look at the dollar and use caution. We're coming into a holiday market. Okay, unemployment is going to be huge on Friday. Okay, and I was listening to you earlier talk about the employment numbers, about how all of a sudden we're starting to see that we're not really pushing so much in the right direction, you know. Sure. And I don't know about how things are in Florida. Like, you know, I told you a couple of weeks ago how there's been businesses that are closing. Like every week now you're hearing of new places closing in Chicagoland, you know. So as the PPE runs out and they can start closing, you know, they had to keep people employed for a while, and especially a lot of bars and restaurants, the restrictions are coming back in Chicagoland, and we can't go through this again. If we go through this again, you're looking at seeing a lot of small businesses shuttering, you know. Yeah. So, and this is going to have a big impact even on the real estate market, which hits the interest rate market and then the currency market.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you know, we don't have many restrictions in Florida, but just from a life perspective, restrictions or not, man, my family, many families, you can't quite live the way you want to be socially, you know, and with that said, I might go to a hotel or something. It's just not the same. You know, it's not the same as in it's a factor, at least in your head, which as long as it's a factor in everyone's head, we're not going to be back to those levels. And we're definitely not back to what we all wanted, which was that huge rebound, right? You know, that we just rip open. And I still think we'll get there, but man, we're just not there right now. Not in my head, not in Florida. Yeah.
Well, remember, the lockdowns are affecting the currency markets. You know, see, right now there's strength in the Australian dollar. This is just a short-term bounce. You know,
I was waiting to get to this one, man, because that is quite a little pop. You know, what, 71 to almost 73.50.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like you say, in context to where we've been, man, yeah, interesting though, the run. So you're looking at basically just a bounce there, and still the trend being to negative territory. Okay.
Absolutely. Here's where the way I see it is, it's very easy to pounce on the dollar right now on a short run daily basis, but as soon as you see a reason to be a dollar bull, the other currencies fall by the wayside right now, you know. So, and that's where you have to be leery. Like right now, I think it's a trap, you know, like the pound is the one market where I think that has a very neutral basis versus the dollar, because you have a divergence, you know, like the euro is very strong right now versus the dollar too. But if you watch the way they've traded over, especially the last week, on almost every single day, the Swiss had the biggest range of those currencies. It had the biggest solid body of momentum also, you know, and that's something where I look at today, like the US dollar yen made a higher move high today. Now it's lower on the day. Okay. So if you look at what the real strong currencies and flight to quality currencies, how they've been reacting, and how now like the pound is moving in the euro, that's why the dollar index is under pressure. It's just a short-term little glitch before, you know, once this thing blows off. You know, the Australian dollar, the lockdowns aren't stopping right now. There's no
I was surprised to see that, even as a counter trend, right? Because it just it's quite a pop, even in the face of what's happening. Yeah.
So, and especially with the yen, and here I talked to somebody in Singapore on Monday. They took a 12-day trip, had just gotten back to Singapore, and they said that when they got back, they're in full lockdown. Now, full lockdown there is full lockdown. You're not going anywhere, you know, and that just started there. And I said, well, so what about other areas around there? Are they starting to look like they're going to lean that way? He's like, yeah, and he's like, when they lock down here, it's not like in the U.S.
Right.
You know?
No,
so if that trickles to Asia, Japan, the yen, this is going to become an issue. You know, it really will. So I think you're still going to see a big rally in the U.S. dollar yen. U.S. dollar Swiss, I think it's ready. It's poised for a breakout. I think it's the only reason that the Swiss is lower today right now. Originally, it was higher on the day, the U.S. dollar Swiss. And I think it's just because the dollar's under pressure. So I'd be very leery being a dollar bear right now in whatever currency cross that you're trading, just because I think that it's too easy for that to turn, and when it spins, it's going to spin violently, especially with interest rates the way they're fluttering around right now. You know, Friday is going to be a bond number. If the bonds have a big move. You know, Friday could be one of those days where you see a $3 range in the U.S. Treasury bond market and the 10-year market. You know, and when you have that, that means you could have a $3 range in the euro. You know, it's just jerking around. So I would say be careful of the algo. The computers could really start swinging come, you know, Friday morning's trade. And we're in front of a holiday that could be illiquid thin markets.
I like the fundamental take, man. I do, because as much as, you know, I talk about, just like you're saying, it's a tough situation with the lockdowns. I think it's going to persist across, you know, the globe, and that's going to weigh, just like you're talking about in Singapore, and yeah, those shutdowns are harsh, man. The U.S. probably, unfortunately, just ahead of the curve with this wave. And we got touching oil, man. Oil trading a little bit lower today, 67.51.
Still going to 100, baby. It's going to 100.
I like it, baby. I like it. Well, Teddy, man, have a great Labor Day weekend, man. Enjoy that cool weather. We'll talk to you next week. Thanks, Teddy.
Thanks.
Check them out every trading day, folks. Forex-trading-unlock.com. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge. Just $89 exclusively at TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Thinkorswim. For more information, just click the Thinkorswim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. I got a chart of Amazon up here. Amazon tech stocks accelerating higher in a big way. We got Amazon up more than a full percent. Taking a look at Amazon, you back it up to a daily, going back to the full context. Whoops, excuse me. There it is for your consolidation. We've been stuck in this consolidation, folks. You're going back basically 14 months, beginning of July of last year, August, September. Yeah, about 14 months. We've been locked in this consolidation. We're trading at 35.07. Interesting to see where we go from here. Bumping up against the upper boundary line. Quite the acceleration from 3,200. This news probably not affecting Amazon, but interesting out today, as in all the tech stocks trading higher. Amazon up with the market, but 55,000 tech jobs. The CEO unveils that they're going to be hiring, so they're planning to hire 55,000 people for corporate and technology roles globally in the coming months. In context of the workforce that would represent, that's a third of Google's headcount as of June 30th, and basically almost Facebook's entire headcount in terms of the workers that they would have. Amazon's a great company, folks. Longer term, you almost can't beat it. Yeah, we're bumping up against the upper boundary line right now, but we've been in this consolidation. I mean, you're talking about basically 14 months ago, Amazon was trading at 33.44. We're trading at 35.02 right now, the high at 37.73. They're just in so many things, you almost can't touch on it. Apple, just got to check in on it because the run it's had is remarkable. Now, look where, for context, where Apple was, right? We got to go back real quick in terms of the run that these companies have had versus Amazon. Amazon, you have to back it up to maybe July or maybe August of last year, about a year ago. It's at the same price. You take a look at Apple, July, August of last year, you were pushing 130, you were pushing 135. You're solid $20 higher. You're solid 15% above those price levels, where Amazon's just at that price point. Microsoft, my goodness, you look where we were in July, August of last year. You were trading at 220 to 230. You're above 300, not quite 400 this morning. Some of the other stocks moving today. How about CrowdStrike? Taking a look. So much for bad earnings. This company turns around a big way in the open. We're back to positive territory, up to 282. We'll take a look at some of the other stocks people like to check in on. Tesla up 0.6%. Tesla trading at 740 so far this morning. We'll check in on Zoom, up about 2.5% after a tough day yesterday. Stay tuned, folks. Should be an interesting day in the market. We got our man Basil Chapman. He's up next. Fast market at 11 o'clock. Of course, our man Larry Pesavento at noon. Steve Rhodes, Dave White, Tom O'Brien, all this afternoon. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back.